Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Limbus Company reaction. Today we have Canto VII Boss Battle 4. This one was requested by somebody who didn't actually get any likes on their comment, but Natalie got lucky here that I needed a Limbus song, and theirs was the only one in the comments that was actually a Limbus song. So I guess I will go for this one today. There was another one that had a bunch of likes on it, but it was for a completely different franchise, so I'm like, not following my normal schedule here, I'll go with this one. So I guess with no context and nothing further to go off of really, I guess I'll listen to this one. Let's go. Started pretty aggressively. It's like militant operatic kind of energy to it. What was all that? I'll have to go back and listen to that part. Gotta turn this up a little bit. Whew. Comment was not wrong. There are a lot of layers to listen to here. That's a lot of layers. Some interesting layer choices, some interesting instruments. That's going up and down on that scale. It's rare that you hear a guitar being used in support. And I love that it's always like constantly dark carnival. It never falls out of that. What a great lead-in. Oh, I love this. Big finish. Hell yeah, going in for the triplets. Ooh, hell yeah. Love that it ended with triplets, too. Damn, this has a lot more to talk about than I thought it was gonna. They said there was layers, and I was expecting layers, but that's a lot. Oh. So to start off with that mention about how it's weird having a guitar in the background that's playing a support role instead of a lead. Obviously, guitars are mostly known for playing the melody in songs, and I found it kind of interesting that this chose to use this classical sound on a guitar more as a support. There were times where it kind of came through and was more of a lead, but it was definitely accentual. It wasn't constantly in the melody limelight, and that's kind of odd to me. I know obviously that there are songs that do that and have the guitar in a supporting supporting role. Rhythm guitars and rock are a great example of that just kind of play the general theme on the back burner while a lead guitar does the rest of it. But in this case, they more had everything else doing the lead, those more impressive instruments. And by impressive, I of course mean like the tone rather, because it's like the brass, and especially the second half, was taking up most of the melody line and really playing through all that power. The song itself obviously being very large, having a lot of power to it, but in the first half, most of the melody was taken up by the vocals actually, so that was really cool too, utilizing the voices as the melody instead, and having the guitar play its background role the whole time was really an interesting choice, and it kind of shows more of that energy shift as the song goes through. You hear the voices, and while it's still definitely dark, it's definitely a little bit more controlled. Then when the horns come in and just really take over the show in the latter half, it feels so much more oppressive and just really putting in that pressure on the song and making it feel even larger. So having the brass basically act as a larger version of the vocal line was a neat choice, and I thought that was really cool. And when I said there were some other interesting instruments in there, I of course was talking about percussion stuff. There were some chimes in the background in a lot of that, especially the first half. And chimes, for those who don't know, are basically gigantic cylindrical bells that you can hit with a mallet, and they're used quite a bit, especially in stuff that's a little bit more cinematic. But this, utilizing that, just kind of bolstered that energy. Even at the beginning, it was kind of creating its own backbone, a nice solid groundwork for everything else to sit on top of it. They're usually used for accents or groundwork, and that's exactly what they are. As a percussion instrument, they're kind of there for that purpose. And as the song went through, I was listening to, of course, the vibe overall, and there was a lot of things that were showing me that dark carnival energy. Obviously, a lot of the chromatic scale that was being thrown in here, lots of those notes going up and down just by half steps were shining through a lot, and that's kind of the thing that was giving me that characteristic trait of it being like a carnival-esque sound, because carnival music does do that. They utilize scales that use those half steps quite often, and if you put those into minor scales, they sound really dark and depressing because we kind of expect that sound to be in major due to things like carnivals being such happy places, and that's why it works in horror genres so well, because it's something that's naturally subverting those expectations of what we've grown up knowing as happy and being tilted in another way. Same thing for like why people are afraid of clowns, all that same general energy. So that was really well approached here too. When it comes down to the story for this one, I think it's safe to say that it's pretty easy to read given the energy of this song. I don't exactly know what the characters' motivations here are, but with the dark carnival sound coming through, I'm kind of following the same mental path that I was following for like the last reaction that I did, and even the one before that, where we're in this, I assume, the same world and same story, where everything has that general dark carnival theme, and there's really not much more I can add to that I haven't already said before. So if you haven't seen the prior videos, go to those and you get the overall thoughts of what I'm trying to get at for the story stuff. I don't want to keep treading the same ground when I talk about that, just because I have used it for a few videos now, so it's like, if you want to hear more about me yapping about that, go to those. You'll get the same general experience there rather than just me talking about it again. And jumping back into music stuff real quick, when it got to the ending that I was really excited about, it was kind of evolving exactly as I expected. It was on 8s and then 16s, and then when it got to what I thought was going to just be like a 32, a double up of the prior like it had been doing, they went to triplets, which, while definitely an option, it just wasn't the one I was expecting, but is the more musically interesting one, so I love that they did that. I love it when people throw in triplets on stuff. As a musician, as a percussionist, I enjoy that feel. It's one of my favorite things to do on the drums. It has such a good energy to it, and it just leaves so much room to be open at the end. It allows you to change movement in the actual time signature if you want to. It's just a better option. Like I said, it's more musically impressive and interesting, even though it's not necessarily harder. It just sounds more intriguing to the ear. It's just something that naturally your brain isn't exactly expecting, even if it is the more sensible option in a lot of cases. So just great musicality there all around. But all in all, even though there were definitely some things about this song that I could pick out and definitely praise, I enjoyed it. It's just that there's a lot of things I would usually pull from this song that I've already pulled from other songs that we've already listened to from this event. So starting to get to that point of like diminishing returns overall. But either way, if you enjoyed this video and you want to request something else, by all means go for it. It doesn't necessarily not have have to be from this canto either. It could totally be from that. It's just more likely that I'll run into these moments of not having a song that I can really break down more because I've already heard the general concept a few times. But there could definitely be a surprise in there, a little diamond in the rough that I haven't heard yet. So if you have one of those, by all means, drop it in the comments and I will do my best to get to it. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for stuff in the future, you know how to do all that. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!